Welcome to Claim Your Power Hour. And we have a technical issue that I just realized.
Oh.
We're only on YouTube.
So
welcome to YouTube exclusive Claim Your Power Hour. We're not going anywhere on Facebook right now, and I don't think I can fix that. I'm putting go live, but it's not letting me go live for some reason. So,
okay.
Huh. So I guess we're going to be just on YouTube tonight.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to go live right now to our.
Is it letting you?
I'm going to find out right now.
Hold tight with us, YouTube viewers.
So, hey, don't y'all love it when this happens?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Facebook's not
has lost access to your.
Yeah, we lost all this Facebook access that I didn't even realize that we lost. So
no, I'm good here.
Are you? Okay.
So what you're going to need to do is just take a step back and take a step out, and I'll say hi to everybody real quick, and just go to the destinations and reconnect yourself. It'll be one click and you'll be right back.
Okay.
And while he's gone, hi everybody. How's it going out there in YouTube and Facebook land and all of that and that good stuff? Just going to sit here for a minute with everybody as you join and welcome you into Claim Your Power Hour. This hour is really about taking back that which you give away every time you get angry, every time you get upset, every time you fall into the matrix trap of going down a rabbit hole that isn't even a rabbit hole that you created. It's just a rabbit hole. And sometimes we go down other people's rabbit holes, and we also call that going down the spiral, because usually if we're following somebody down their rabbit hole, there's a really good possibility that we are down their rabbit hole and owning their stuff and giving away our power. Stay in our own hole. Maybe that's it. Stay in our own rabbit hole. Use our Taya tools. And one of the best Taya tools that I know of is literally, I mean, it's just kicking back, petting my dog. That's a low thought activity.
Petting your dog?
Yeah, I was just talking about, hey, you know, we sometimes lose our power. It's just all about claiming our power. And sometimes I feel like that I can be someone who can lose my power by going down somebody's rabbit hole that they've created that I don't have any business needing to go down. And then try to talk sense into them as to why I had to go down it.
So I tried to connect us elsewhere, and I don't think that's working. So I'm just here now on YouTube with you and wherever you shared it. So hello, everyone. Whoever's watching, I know there's people logging on and watching live. Say hello.
Hi, everybody. How are you doing? Some of you are on the Spirituality Gone Wild group. Some of you are on my Facebook page, and the rest of you are on YouTube.
I think we might be on my Facebook page. And if we are, I can share it somewhere else. But yeah, we have a little technical issues starting out here.
So, hey, you know, today is actually a pretty cool day. It's 1/11.
Oh yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about that.
1/11, new moon, intention though. We were in that meeting earlier with Matt and listening to the word intention. It's like when we're asked what our intention is, when you have somebody who's being a complete pain in your patootie duty, have you ever stopped and asked, what's your intention? Like with whatever it is you're saying right now, what's your intention? If you're going to do something, what is your intention of the thing that you're going to do? My intention right now today is to share something with you all so that you know you don't have to give up. So you know there's other tools out there that you could implement and change the trajectory of your life, and really quick too. So with that said, we're going to welcome David back because I think he's done.
I am back. I am
He's
here.
back.
As the stream says, we are here. I am here. So interesting thing that you brought up the meeting that we had, because Matt was sharing this Reddit thread with us. And the Reddit thread was all about creating an awakening or having a spiritual awakening. And I started looking at all of these different topics.
Mm-hmm.
And it was interesting to me that there's all these different, of course, spirituality, like a lot of things, is just a big tent of ideas. And there's all these different sub belief systems in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all of these people talking about plant medicine and meditation and different techniques to have an awakening. There's a spiritual awakening, and then of course there's also Kundalini awakening. Kundalini awakening, for me, I didn't try. I didn't even know what it was.
Okay.
I started meditating and it just happened. My theory on that, and one of these days we can ask the stream about this. My theory on that is that because I kept that connection somewhat open,
Mm-hmm.
I think it just happened naturally for me when I started meditating, that this energy awakening happened within me.
Yes.
And if you don't know what the hell I'm talking about when I started meditating back in 2010, and I had already had and kept what I call the stream flowing throughout my lifetime. I think everybody has their version of that. In fact, I believe it. So I will say I know everybody has their version of that.
Mm-hmm.
But I kept mine open as a child because I needed to survive. That was sort of my connection to, not go haywire. And I learned to trust it. And I didn't learn to trust the matrix as much as I trusted the inner knowing, which we now call the stream.
Mm-hmm.
Most people, I do think, get kind of drawn into the matrix. And I understand why, because the matrix offers you a framework to live your life with. I understand religion. Here's a set of beliefs, here's a set of rules and tools, here's a community, here's a group of people that you can identify with. That's why that worked so well for so long until it didn't anymore for people.
Right.
Some people. And it still works today for many. I acknowledge that. But I never shut the source down in favor of the matrix. And I believe that when I started meditating, that Kundalini awakening was ready to go. It was just this eruption of energy that electrified me, and I still feel electrified now. So that was a thing that happened naturally for me. What I got from my awakening, my Kundalini awakening, and going deeper into the stream, was that a spiritual awakening is really just about detuning your ego, however you go about doing that. Because plant medicine can do that for you. It sort of lifts the veil, right, that the matrix creates. It can be ceremonial. It could be a process over time. I think awakening happens throughout a lifetime. I don't think we're ever finished doing that.
I
But
don't
it's
think so.
sort of like awakening from your own ego, right?
I do think awakening. It's awakening to see things. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's a perspective shift. It's like,
I think
aha.
for me, there's been stages.
Oh yeah, the stages. I don't know that the stages do finish. And in fact,
No, every time I think I've hit the ceiling of oh, I got it all now, I realize, oh no, I don't. I remember thinking in 2017, 2018, when I put the stream book out, wow, this is really clarity of the whole universe that I'm putting out there. And there was a lot of clarity at that time, but
Yeah.
I go back now and look at where I was personally then to where I am now, and realize that I've created or allowed all this other stuff to happen since then. And I'm not the same individual now and none of us are, but I'm not the same individual now that I was then. So this process, the ego thinks, okay, I'm really something now. I'm channeling source and I really got it. But you're never done with this. And that's what I love now, is the never done part of it. There's always more work to do. There's always more expansion of consciousness.
Yes.
Infinitely.
There's always
Infinitely.
more.
Yeah. So why would we think we would ever be done as a human being expanding?
Well, we're not. And that's kind of I think that's another unique part about being human, though. We got this opportunity to come and be here and be human, and we're all trying to figure out how not to be. It's crack up. It's like and I think that what I appreciate about Taya the most is that it teaches you how to love the most human stuff that you go through. And I have such human stuff all the time, but that's what we're here to do. And this idea that we're going to use spirituality, love, and light to ping pong our way up and over the stuff isn't going to happen. It is literally appreciating it. The stream says, David, about how when you're down your spiral and you're in the mess, that's where creation is being made.
Oh yeah.
So let's expand.
That's really the good stuff. We don't think it, again, the matrix operates in reverse of the universe. So the matrix says, oh gosh, if you've got bad stuff going on, then that's not good and you need to get out of that, and nothing bad should ever be happening. And I think that a lot of times when we look to our spiritual teachers, we're expecting spiritual teachers to be superhuman. And the channel part is superhuman. If you're a channel, and everybody's a channel in their own way. So if you're channeling infinite wisdom, yes, I do think that you're interacting with superhuman, but the human side never completely goes away, because if it did, you would exit physical and you would just be literally spiritual. You would be a spirit, right? You'd be energy.
Well, that's it right there.
But that energetic, it's difficult to bridge the gap between the energy of all that is source and this little, speck of dust that is a human being in comparison to all of that. Because our focus, we are focused, right? We're focused as humans on planet Earth to have the human/earthly experience.
Yeah.
And the stream has said it's like going on a weekend trip. You go to the beach to go do beach stuff, to go lay in the sand and breathe the air and go eat seafood and, have that relaxing beach experience. You're immersing yourself in that when you go on the weekend trip. Well, that's what our human life is a little weekend trip that we go on to focus here at the beach that is Earth and have the earthly experience as a human being. And the value is in the earthly human experience. The expansiveness is in the suffering of being a human, because that's when we're forced to be at our most creative, our most resourceful, is when we are in crisis or in some sort of a downflow vibrationally. That's when the good stuff happens.
I agree.
But we're taught to demonize we're taught to demonize it. That's bad. It's wrong. You shouldn't be experiencing that. If you really had your act together, you'd be living in perfection all the time. We get that. And Force is not telling us that, though.
No. I have been accused of not being authentic because I don't talk about every detail that goes on in my life. I come on and I share how I've gotten through it. And I want to talk about that because when we come on here, do y'all really want to hear me go down the victim spiral of hell? Because if we're not in joy, where are we?
Well, the intention here is to share tools that will help people live a better life. Period. That's it. That's the only intention here. And that's what I want to offer up. To me, there's a lot of things that are not that online, especially on Facebook and things like that. There's a lot of divisiveness. I see a lot of posts that are put out there just to rile people up.
Correct.
And that gets a lot of attention. It's very easy to rile people up. I think it's more challenging to offer something positive of substance that isn't just gloss.
There you go.
And there's a lot of spiritual gloss out there too. And that's okay. If it uplifts you, then it's doing its thing.
Right.
And sometimes I want to go right into the depths of, stream and, appreciation of all that is. I geek out on that stuff, but I forget the value of the gloss sometimes. I know that I do. As a spiritual teacher, I know sometimes I forget that the love and light glossy stuff serves people sometimes.
It does. And I get attacked almost daily regarding my belief systems or how I feel about things. I mean, there is no better tool than Taya to know that everything is a distraction.
Yeah. And a word about being attacked, I had to learn for myself because You think, oh, I've got this great thing, and I got to a point where I left my corporate gig,
Yeah.
very well paying corporate gig, because I just couldn't not share the stream anymore. I have to do this. I have to quit. I have to do a podcast. I'm going to have to allow the universe to take care of me, because I have to share this. I have to share it. Was there ego in that? Sure. I'm sure there was, but it was so profound and moving and enlightening for me that I wanted to share it with anyone who was interested. There are plenty of people that are not interested.
Well, and that's kind of you got the trick where I was headed with this. Is that's true?
Yeah.
However,
Well, the thing is that if you're pissing people off, though, you're probably disrupting the matrix, and isn't that really what you're setting out to do anyway?
it
If
is what
you're
it was.
if you're not seeking to piss them off, but if you sharing your authentic journey with allowing source in your life, and that triggers them, then that's not a you problem, that's a them problem, because they're being triggered by something that is they're really in the matrix, and now
Mhm.
you're sharing something with them that is absolutely opposed to their belief system. If it's triggering them, that's what you're seeing. And if they're bothering to comment, and everybody has an opinion. We always talk about, what's the new, what do you want to abolish, or what do you want to do differently
Yeah.
in the new year? I would love to just tone down the opinions because there's just so many
You
opinions.
know what they say? They say they're like, you hit
Yes.
real. Hmm. So
Everybody has to comment on everything. I see a picture of somebody that somebody famous, and I'll click and look at it for a minute, if it grabs my attention, and then here come all the negative comments. What happened to their face? Oh, they got so old. What are they wearing? Is there a spot on their jean? I saw that today on some picture I was looking at, and I'm like, wow, people love to just pick stuff apart. It's crazy.
well,
It's like an outlet for all their negativity in their lives, I guess.
but that's the distraction, and that's the thing is we have an opportunity every time somebody crosses the threshold to just let them frickin' cross it. Who cares? I literally, it's like, let them do it because it is a waste of my energy to not. As I said when I started this today, is 111. Is claim your power. Who are you giving your power to? Every time you give your power away, you can take it right back. Call it back.
Well, you give your power away when you
Okay.
allow something to shift your vibration
Thank
in a
you.
way that you don't want, then
Psh,
you're giving your power away, because you don't
yeah,
have to do that. Period.
absolutely.
On any topic ever, period.
Period. But here's something cool, David, that I've been discovering. That if I'm giving my cow power away, it's because I'm not addressing something within myself that I need to be saying. If I'm giving my power away, it's because I'm buying into the bullshit story that you're telling me. So I'm going to join you in this trivial pursuit of drama. And I am going to step into it. Now, what is it serving for me? What is it doing for me? What is my responsibility in this? And that is very simple. If I choose to react, it is what it is. If I choose to respond, not respond, there's a softness that takes away the edge that react has. I'm going to promise you, there's no way that any of this is possible. There's tools that you do to be able to make this happen. Practicing the pause when somebody's pissing you off is really tough. But I'm going to tell you, rather than playing the victim, I'm coming on here. I could come on here and tell you my little woes if y'all like to hear them, because I could do that. I feel sorry. I'm really good at feeling sorry for myself real quick. Luckily, I have tools to pull because I call a ambulance and pull myself back up. And I address what's going on in my heart. You see, because underneath all faces and masks of anything that are not smiles or joy is simply this desire to be loved, heard, understood, cared about. And, getting lost in the ego of all that doesn't serve. Giving my power away is not how to be a really great human for me. It's not practicing the 4
Well,
pillars
and
either.
it doesn't feel good to be out of control of your emotional state. And if you've got a lot of triggers, then you're constantly being triggered emotionally down your spiral. I love triggers though, because when a trigger pops up or I get triggered by something, that is good information for me.
It is such
Why
good
is this
information.
bothering me?
Okay,
And
y'all.
even
Look,
if I'm looking, I was telling about how I was looking online and seeing all these negative comments.
yeah.
Observing it and just noticing it is different than letting it bother you. But if I ever find myself letting it bother me, that's a good sign that, oh, I'm not where I want to be vibrationally right now. Because if it's bothering me, then that
Mhm.
means that I am somewhat down my spiral and I'm judging it. And that's what that disconnection from source does not feel good. When you don't feel good, you are emotionally, you are disconnecting yourself from source. I have not felt good physically and still felt good emotionally at the same time. So those two things are
Uh,
not necessarily interconnected. I have been
yeah,
in
there you go.
pain and still not been judging it as should not be. And therefore, I wasn't emotionally down my spiral. I was just physically experiencing the pain. That's a magical thing because I've heard one of the comments that I get over the years when we talk about raising your vibration and being in a higher state of vibe. Somebody will say, well, what about when you have chronic pain? How am I supposed to do that?
Yeah.
And I created a situation for myself where I lived with chronic pain for years, and it
Yeah.
got much worse for a couple of years. And I figured out that, wait a minute, I can live with the chronic physical pain and still not be emotionally down my spiral, because this shouldn't be vibration is what's taking you down your spiral. That's what's disconnecting you from source. It really is as simple as that, because source is not viewing anything and saying it shouldn't be. The
Absolutely.
magic of enlightenment, if you will, or awakening, is understanding that source is appreciation of all that is. Okay, I'm not appreciating this right now. Boom, I'm disconnected from source because source is up there, in there, down there, everywhere, loving what is. And it
Yep.
sounds insane to love chronic back pain or whatever it is you're experiencing that is an unwanted thing, but you can. You can appreciate, you can have deep understanding and appreciate any and everything. I have proven that now. I definitively know that because I've been through it. I've been through enough little things that I've shared lately. And you think, gosh, I'm so deep into this process that I shouldn't be having unwanted things happen. But that's not what the process is about. You're not going to cure polarity. So you're not going to cure the having of unwanted circumstances. You're just not. Notice that every major spiritual guru eventually dies. They all do. Louise Hay died. Wayne Dyer died.
You know
They're
what's
all
so
going to disconnect from physical and die in some way because they're human beings still, and they're going to go down their spiral and have these human experiences. We're designed to do that. We're all going to do that. But it's
I'm
how we
laughing.
go by doing that. I don't know how they were at their passing. I wasn't present for it. But I know now that I can experience significant pain and significant loss and
Yeah.
significant, you know, drama in my life and not judge it as should not be, and therefore not suffer in the experience, and then move through the experience having created as a result of it.
If we could download this into y'all, we would. Oh, wait, that's right. There's a book. It's called The Tire Practice. Yeah, The Tire Practice. I'm doing a shameless
Here,
plug.
she's plugging the book, so I'll hold up the book right now. The Tire Practice book,
The Tire Practice. So
available exclusively Amazon. So yeah,
exclusively on Amazon. We are reading it every morning. I don't think we did it this morning because whatever. But the idea is that reading it a little bit at a time every day, getting to the first practice. And for me, it's having it right there and knowing that I can do 3 things I appreciate. I need reminders, just, oh, Lordy help me, geez. I need reminders, believe me. This is what the tire practice is doing. If, would you remember the Vita Vita Vegemin commercial with Lucille
with Lucy.
Ball?
Oh
That
yeah, from the show. Yeah,
Vita Vita Vegemin, the tire practice book. And it's tasty too.
it's. Did not know where the hell you were going with that.
I didn't either, but you know what? I have to throw you all off just for a second because the fact of the matter is that it's hard to explain because you really need to experience Taya. It's not something I can sit. I'd love to share like all of my wins and all of the things that I struggle with and all that, but it's not the same. When we experience things, it gets into our nervous system and becomes part of us. That's a fact. You keep doing that for a while, that's a practice. Your autonomic nervous system kicks in, and all of a sudden, it becomes part of your daily life. And the cool part is there's now a book to do that with. It's such an easy thing to do right now. It, I mean, we could do the if your life sucks and you're not happy, you might want to do it differently. Or
Or if your life doesn't suck and you're happy and you think there's more to be had, you're right, there is.
there is. It doesn't. There's so many different things. I actually David Reed Watson got the book and he's going to be reading it, and I'm super excited about this because he did a book club with The Power of Eight with Lynn McTaggart. So I'm super stoked to see what he does with this because it's just one more person to have integrated into a practice that helps all of us to connect better. David, you've brought up many times about how we disconnect ourselves from source. How you had a Kundalini awakening where it was just a spark. And I had a spark the G vibe moment, which was mine in Huntington Beach with the sunroof open long, long ago. Now, actually, I was about 17 the first time I experienced what they call a Kundalini awakening. I just didn't know what it was. And it was an amazing experience. All these things that take us and connect us to source. The biggest problem with humanity is the disconnect. It's the matrix. How do we get reconnected in a world that is constantly pulling us and distracting us away? And I want to talk about that because these distractions are keeping you stuck in where you're at. What do I have to say?
Yeah, well, you brought up the book and the four pillars of Taya.
Yeah,
give you everything that you need, because the appreciation piece, pillar one, appreciation of all that is source, connects you with source, and it's just a practice. As a pillar, it's a practice where how do I appreciate this? How do I appreciate the unappreciable? Because I think I just made up a word. Because we are taught that there's so many things we're not supposed to appreciate in the matrix, but when you do break the rules and you're a rebel and you appreciate the unappreciable, then you see that you're taking its power, you're taking the power away from it.
What happens?
It's the opposite of, you're fueling something when you're judging it or fearing it. And when you stop judging and fearing it and start appreciating it, it makes it benign. It really shrinks it. And there's so much stuff in the world that we aren't allowed to appreciate, that we've got to continue to push against and fight. And then it never goes away. Never, ever, ever, never does it go away. Same problems. I'm watching a period show right now, based many, many years ago. And they were dealing with the same problems in that period that we deal with right now. Nothing is solved. And the things that don't get solved are because we continue to demonize those things. So we're taught in the matrix, you have to demonize them and you have to speak out against them and you have to push, and then they never get fixed. We just keep, it just keeps fueling somebody coming along and saying they're going to be think about election year. We're in election year now, right? In the United States. How often, we're both the same age, how many elections have we lived through where somebody's going to get on television? I don't even listen to it anymore, but they're going to stand up and they're going to give this great speech about how they're going to fix everything. And they never do.
Every time.
Because you don't want to fix anything, because if you don't have things to fix, then what are you running on? You're just going to complain about the problem, get people to vote for you to fix it. Then you're not going to fix it. And then you're going to want 4 more years to still fix the problem that you didn't fix in the first 4 years. It's laughable, but humanity, that is the matrix. And when you start awakening, you start noticing that, wow, the things that we demonize tend to not go away. They stick around. So here are the big picture humanity problems, but you can shrink that down to your personal life and look at the things that you continue to demonize, stick around in your life. Maybe stop demonizing them. Maybe do exactly the opposite. Let's go crazy. Let's appreciate this. One of the, and I've talked about this on here before, one of the niches that we kind of created in boot camp, for a while, we had a whole string of parents whose children had died. And what did we do with these people? We taught them to to take something that they're taught in the Matrix is the worst thing that ever can happen to a person is have your child taken from you, especially in a
Mhm.
tragic way. And I can't imagine what wouldn't be considered tragic, you know.
Correct.
And suicide, accidents, murder, childhood illness, all these horrible things that are just awful and terrible, and nobody wants them to happen. And the more they suffer and the demonization of what happened, the more they tire of the suffering and realize I need a way out of this. And the way out of it is to do exactly the opposite. Let's find appreciation for what was. What can you grasp of what was that you can appreciate about them? Or what can you imagine in your now that you can appreciate about the time that you had, the being that they were, the energetic being that they are? And they start doing that work, and all of a sudden, all that energy shifts. I always use the extreme example of that because if a parent who's lost a child can do that work and shift that energy, then the rest of us on any topic can do this.
It's true.
So
I've
whatever
watched.
it is that you're demonizing, you can appreciate it and really shift it.
I agree. I've watched people lose their children, and I don't. They are the strongest humans I've known and know, and it's to not demonize, though, is really the key issue here. Not demonizing that which is going on in your life. Watching that period show, and we haven't evolved all that much on the emotional spectrum of being human. And it's a choice, It's like you got a choice to appreciate your life or you don't. Uh, Getting focused on things that are we demonize just keeps them. That's it. Just keeps them. If you want to keep it, just keep that and just keep. And if you don't, make a different choice. Study something that's going to give you tools. Don't just waste your time complaining and whining. I mean, you can if that
I
suits
think
you.
you can have any experience you want, but if you're tired of suffering, then this is the channel.
You know,
This is the thing to listen to, because the end of suffering is the beginning of abundance.
oh
So
yeah,
many people get into spirituality because they get drawn into the law of attraction message because they want stuff. They want a better life, and I understand that. There's nothing wrong with wanting that. And it's sort of the gateway drug into getting them into so many other things. And the beautiful thing about Taya and what we teach is that the healing of the wounds opens the pathway to the well-being that you seek, whether it's
yeah.
physical, health-wise, emotional, financial, relationship, all of the things that we want to experience, that we want to experience while we're in physical. The path to all of that is the healing of the suffering that keeps us away from it.
Well, I agree completely. You know,
And when we manifest things that we
Mhm.
think are going to cover up the pain, we find that those things never do what we thought they were going to do to cover up the pain.
That was very good. Y'all should listen to that. The thing that you're doing to cover up the pain is probably not going to cover up the pain. In fact, it probably is going to make it just worse.
Well, for me, it was like, okay, this stuff is nice, it's great, but I still have this emotional void or
Yeah.
this heaviness that I feel that weighs me down, this thing that haunts me. I still have that. I took this to the nicer house with me. I went right through the gated community, up to the big house, walk through the doors. Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, it's great. Oh, my ego loves living here. It's so satisfying to drive up and walk in and live in this. When I grew up in a dump, to walk into this house that's bigger than the building that I used to live in an apartment. And it really, my ego loved it, but I realized that I still took all the baggage in there with me of all
Yeah.
the stuff. And here I am still suffering in this beautiful home. And now I'm stressed out about paying for the beautiful home that's still suffering in. So maybe I had to let go of the bigger home for a while to realize that the bigger home didn't do what I thought it was going to do. It highlighted the fact that I was still suffering and now just stressed out about paying for something that I thought was going to heal me, and it didn't. I did the healing work, and then I got the bigger home again, and realize that, okay, a lovely big house is a nice enhancement to a high vibrational life. When you love yourself and love all that is and live every day in joy, it's a lovely thing to have. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with a new car or a nice vacation or fancy clothes or a nice dinner out or whatever it is you want to experience. There's nothing wrong with any of that.
No,
It's just, it's not going to do what you think it's going to do if you don't do the healing work also. The Band-Aids just don't work.
they do not work. In fact, I don't know. I haven't escaped anything yet. It's all there, and there's remnants there. And the work, when I'm not doing my practices, I'm reminded by the way I'm experiencing my life. If I'm looking at it and I'm growling a lot, probably not doing my practices.
Yeah, well, your ego never goes away completely. We detune, we don't eradicate.
We don't eradicate.
And what happens is that you have that vibrational dust that hangs around. It's I think there's something, I will say at this point, I think that there is some vibrational dust stuff that I've cleared completely, and it never shows back up again. But not all of it. There are little remnants of things. But I geek out on this stuff so much now that I love that there's there's something else there for me.
Yeah.
There's something else there. When my father passed away a few months ago, what else is going to be here? What else can I work on? And there was a little something there, and I detuned it, and now I'm really good on that topic. And I don't know that I'll ever deal with that again, or have it come back around again. But there's still other stuff, and I love the stuff now because that is something that I'm going to grow with and work on. And I also know that if I really clear out a whole lot of stuff, I'm just going to create something else.
That's right.
I have proven that to myself as well, that there'll be something else to create, to move through a new experience, to grow in.
There's always going to, we can create and create and create, but with creating with intention. This is the direction I know I want to go in. This is how I want to feel when I'm doing it. There's something to be said when we're doing those things. And what I find is that we haven't done the part of loving ourselves, just being there with ourselves, or detuning our own behaviors, detuning the things in the past that maybe we aren't very proud of that we've done. There's so much involved here with loving you, and not so that you're not creating. Well, I mean, creating disasters is kind of fun. I mean, you can rebuild. I mean, look at your house; it's being rebuilt pretty rad. I mean, seriously.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw the video I posted today. They're tearing it down now.
Yeah,
Go back to the house. It's just gone.
Just gone.
It's just gone.
And
or as we say in the South, it's gone.
And
gone.
In a few months, it's gone.
Yeah, no, they're really they're ripping it down now, and it's good to see progress happening. I'm glad to see it getting dismantled, because that's the first step in building it all back.
It is. And that's also the part about your life that is so important, everybody listening, is that sometimes you just got to dismantle and rebuild that sucker. And here's the cool thing, because you can like rewrite the whole movie and trajectory of your life. You can detune stuff, and you can create whatever type of manual for you that you want. You know, one of the reasons humans don't get along with each other very well sometimes is because we don't know each other's language. We don't know how to teach somebody how to talk to us, or how to treat us. You know, we just don't. Or in my case, sometimes my tonality, because I'm rushed, and comes off, and people take it however they take it. I'm like, huh. We have this opportunity to do human better. That's why we're here. So stop complaining about shit that doesn't matter anymore, because that's really what it comes to at this age. I'm going to be 56 in 10 days.
Oh, you're a little older than me. I forgot.
I am.
You're like 4 weeks older than me.
I am 4 weeks older than you and Josie. And so, but I mean, at this point, it's like the needless things to worry about. They're just not there anymore. And if I were to tell my younger self anything, it would be stop sweating. The small stuff. Period. when we waste our moments on sweating, well, it's nothing's a waste because you can always appreciate it, turn it into something golden. But it is kind of a thing, how much time are you going to give to what isn't working and start putting time into what could work? And the biggest excuse people have is it's not going to work. It's not going to do anything. And those are all the ones that don't do jack.
Well, the thing is people aren't realizing that anything can work if you give it power. Yeah. And we're moving through. Here's 2 big secrets. And anybody that's watching this video 40 minutes in is going to get 2 big secrets. Anything, the power is within you. And it doesn't matter if it's Taya or Catholicism or your own thing, whatever it is. Taya just gives you the framework to go inward and clear out the stuff that raises your vibration. The power is you.
Yes.
Source is already in you. We're not installing source in you. It's already there. We're teaching you how to eliminate the things that block it out, basically. And we're not the only ones that can do that. I think it's a very effective way to do it. If you love the stream's teachings and you're giving it power, that's the magic. That's the magic. If this stuff resonates with you, if you like listening to me and like listening to the stream, the true power is you deciding to give it power. And as long as you give it power, it's going to work for you. And that's true on everything. The reason people, quote unquote, fail at anything, especially and anything spiritual or anything in life, period, is because we're going through this up and down vibration. And you're going to discover something. You're going to love it. It's going to be the greatest thing ever. You're going to totally give it power because you're excited about it. And while you're doing that, it's going to work. And inevitably, polarity is going to pull the vibration down. You're going to either get bored with it or you're going to create some sort of rift with the guru that you're paying attention to or the process that you're in, and something's going to stop working or it's going to take too long or something's going to happen. And you're going to blame the system. Oh, it doesn't work. This is BS. This manifesting stuff doesn't work. It worked on a few things, but not on everything. I've heard that so many times.
Oh
so
my
it's
God,
not true.
right?
It doesn't work. I give up. It doesn't work. Well, that's because you've experienced vibrational flow, and the failure happens when you go down in vibration. You unravel some things and you stop. If you let the failure be something that you recognize as part of the process and appreciate it, notice what you could do better next go round, how to make a better version of that. Appreciation factor in the process is all you need for the vibration to go back up. Boom, now you're successful. You can be successful at anything if you don't quit. If you keep at it, let it unravel, let it spin out, let it fall to shit, and then come back with what you've learned from the spin out and start over again. And now you're starting on a whole different plane, though, because you're not starting from scratch. You're starting with all of this information. So you've followed a practice. I just looked down. It's 444. I'm seeing it again. I see it all the time.
I see it too.
I get 444 now. I used to get 111 all the time, and now it is 111. I don't get 111 anymore. Now I get 444. So that's the key to success in anything that you do, because that is the universal process of creation. High vibration, low vibration, high again, into infinity, up, down, up, down, up, down. We're always, as long as we're in physical, going on this little roller coaster ride of vibration. And when you discover something and you love it and it's new and it's fresh, think about relationships, think about jobs, think about the house that you live in. The first day, you were probably so excited. And then as time went on, you lost the excitement. The vibration dropped. The flaws started revealing themselves. Oh, this person isn't who I thought they were. Oh, this job isn't as great as I thought it was. Oh, the house is just too much for me now. Oh, my diet was working so great in the beginning and now it's not. Think about how that works on every single topic.
On every level. Mm-hmm.
And we quit. And then that's where the quote unquote failure happens, isn't just in the quitting. There's no real failure because, we're going to move on to something else, but you don't ever have to fail at anything. You just have to move through the low vibrational period. In your appreciation of the process, your vibe goes back up, and then all the solving power is in your upper vibrational quadrant, up where source is. Source is solving. Source is the solution to everything.
Source is the solution to everything. And I love that you brought that up. And isn't there some relief in that? That connection to source, the connection of energy through us. But yeah, up, down, It's not that it isn't working, it's that we aren't working it. It's not that it didn't work, it's that you didn't do the work. Nobody wants to hear that except for the fact that it's true. When my stuff isn't, when things, my trajectory isn't like what I'm wanting to see, it's because I'm not doing the work. I don't understand why people have such a hard time with that either. Because it's like, why wouldn't you want to? Why would, I'm just
Well,
curious. Why
because the
would you
Matrix
not
doesn't
want
tell us
to
this
do
stuff, right?
it?
The Matrix teaches us some people are blessed, some people are
Yeah.
privileged, and they're lucky, and you're not, and that's just the way it is, and that's the way it's going to be. And that is very defeating language, and it holds people down. They buy
Yeah.
into that. But
They
what do
do.
I see right now? And I do pay attention to what what the mindsets are out there, because I like seeing what's going on. I don't have to bury my head in the spiritual sand, if you will. I will interact. And what
Yeah.
I hear a lot of is, oh, the economy, oh, interest rates are high, oh, inflation, oh, it's so hard to make a living wage, and all this stuff. All of that negative thought, and that collective negative thought, if you buy into that, you will have that experience, and it is going to hold you down. It's going to hold you back, and you're going to have the recession experience, the inflation experience, the underemployment experience, the man is holding us down, and the billionaires are all evil experience. There's a lot of that going on out there right now, right? A lot of that mindset, but that's not happening for everybody.
Nope.
And you don't have to be part of that. You're choosing to be part of that. So if you're absorbing all that and believing it, I can observe it and not absorb it and believe it. There's a difference. And I can also observe it and judge it and feel like I'm superior to it and really be part of it doing that. So I have to watch that too, because
Yeah.
that doesn't make me superior. I have to appreciate that the people that are buying into that are just choosing to have a different experience, and that's okay.
Well, that's something so important. And that's another very big tool is the choice to allow others to have their own experience.
Oh, that's a big one. Because again, what does the
Oh,
Matrix say? Well, you got to save people from their experience. You're part of the problem if you're not saving people from their experience.
there's so much. This is too many layers for us to get into right now. But the fact of the matter is, everything we do has a self-driven purpose. I don't care what it is. If I go stand in a soup kitchen and I'm feeding people, it's because it's making me happy to feed
Yeah,
people.
it's ego. I mean, there's nothing wrong
There's
with any of
always
those things, but it's your ego that's liking that
yeah,
you're doing something that you feel is good. Sure.
yeah. It's like ah, I just
I would say if you do that,
yeah,
are you doing that in appreciation of them,
yeah.
or are you doing it, and this is just a question to ask yourself, are you doing it to make yourself feel good, or are you doing it because you want to be the one that does good because you think more good will come to you from the good that you do? Think about the why
Oh,
behind it.
well,
When I see homeless people, I appreciate that they're having the experience that they're choosing to have. That doesn't mean that I can't give them money if I want to, or do something for them if I want to, but the
yeah.
feeling sorry for isn't helpful.
No, in
Oh, you
fact,
poor thing, you shouldn't be experiencing that. This shouldn't be happening. So, and what I love hearing is that somebody should do something about that.
somebody should do something about
Why,
that.
why is somebody other than me not doing something about that? I'm not going to do anything about it, but somebody should.
Well, you know what you
There's
could
a
do
lot.
about
There
that?
is a lot of that out there.
We
I
could
do.
do what we could do about that is simply ask the person their name and how their day is going. Tell them yours. That's what we could do about it. That's what I do about it. Actionable steps. What actionable steps can you take today on 111?
Yeah, I don't. I used to live in downtown San Francisco, and I will tell you, I never once did that. So you and I are very different on that point. I
I
appreciated
I
them.
I
They're having
do.
their experience. I'm going to leave them alone and let them have
They're
their
okay
experience.
with the ones that talking to the air. I do the ones that are in multi dimensions, like tripping. I'm
Well,
not
that's
doing
most of
that.
what that is most of what you
Yeah,
see.
no,
Yes, I know
that's
it's
not
not
what
all
I'm.
of it, but
And that's
there's a
not a
lot of it.
judgment. That's not a judgment. I'm
They're in a
just
whole different vibration, and I'm not
they're
sitting here saying they all need to be swept away. And I actually was able to coexist with them in my appreciation of them, but I didn't interact with them.
well, and I love that. But I think that this is the opportunity for everybody to see that you have choices in every single aspect of your life. In every single aspect of your life, you're saying yes because that's why you're there. Now, that's a really hard pill for you to swallow, and I understand that. So get the book, The Tire Practice. So you don't have to feel sorry for yourself right now because I just told you a very big truth. And here's another big truth. that we couldn't be these dynamic human beings if it weren't for the experiences we've had in it. That it doesn't hold just the value of appreciation just all in itself. I mean, could you imagine who I'd be today if I didn't have all the experiences I had since I just met you
Oh yeah,
alone? Just in that short little span of time.
yeah.
Talking about earlier, you were talking about how, we were looking at past podcasts and past things. And I've been looking at past stuff too, because uh, everybody, we're promoting the Taya Practice book right now. So if you know anybody that wants to interview David, go ahead and hit us up. Yeah, that right there. Oh my stars. We want to get it out, everybody.
I
Everywhere
see
we
that
need your
Twin
help.
Flame Divine Fire is on, and
Well, we know Sandra and Alan need to do that.
I wish I had the date. I'm going to be there on in February.
I'm
If you're
totally
still
digging it.
watching, post the date and I'll announce it. I am going to be on Twin Flame Divine Fire live on Saturday, February something. I'll have to look up to tell you when it is.
I love that. And you're going to be live with Lauren Harris too, Dr. Lauren Harris, which is going to be a really phenomenal interview.
Lauren Harris on President's Day, Monday the 19th at 8 a.m. Central, 6 a.m. Pacific. So the stream and I will be out of bed early for that day.
I'm excited for it. I really am. And I'm also excited for those that hopefully what you've heard here is that there's just other ways to do things and just do it. I mean, heck, if you spend any time sad and not happy, and I know the stuff that people go through is real, and I've been there, done that, know that, still do that, still know it. I also know that I don't have to stay in it. And I think that the big difference is that. See, because before I would just wallow in it, cause drama, call Tom, Dick, Harry, Jane, George, and whoever else would listen, my mother, at my horrible life experience. Versus today, I don't have to stay in it. I can accept it, appreciate it, sit with it, actually hate it, hate appreciating it, not be happy about it, and then realize I better start appreciating it because you know where this is going to go, and then shift that.
There you go. So I do have the date. So I will be live channeling the stream on Twin Flame Divine Fire. Google it if you haven't seen it before. And we'll be on live Saturday, February 3rd at 2 p.m. Pacific. And we go for 2 hours on that show.
It's going to be rock
so
star.
2 hours of stream. And you can comment, you can ask questions. So check that show out now and subscribe to it. And I will be live on Saturday, February 3rd.
Super excited about it.
Yeah.
I love that.
So those are my 2 live appearances coming up. The podcast is back. If you haven't listened to the Stream of David podcast, we have new episodes coming out almost weekly. And that is all stream, all channeling there as well. The Taya Practice podcast will be back, but not yet. I needed to catch up on some other things before we did some more episodes of that. But if you haven't checked out the Taya Practice podcast, I have Taya practitioners on, and we talk specifically about the practice for almost an hour on that podcast. So you can check that out as well.
It's really exciting. There's going to be a whole lot of people who are joining the community, and a lot of you are going to have questions. What I'm going to hope for is that you're going to go join the Taya Practice on the Facebook group, the Taya Practice. Did I say that right?
Yes, the Taya Practice,
TYA. TYA. And post what you guys want us to talk about. And maybe David will just put a survey in there. And for the next coming weeks, we can talk about whatever it is you'd like for us to talk about besides our own stuff that we share, so
there you go.
Share us out.
All right. Well, I want to take this opportunity to thank you all for watching live, and good seeing all of you that said hello over there. Debbie, thank you as always.
Thank you.
And we will make sure this makes its way everywhere it's supposed to go on Facebook, because we had a limited audience tonight because we didn't show up on Facebook Live the way we were supposed to. We'll get that fixed. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
So
or day, whenever you're watching.